This is Ryan from GameRoomSolutions.com, and today I'm excited to introduce our new bar top called the Cherry. In this video, I will also show you how I got Android apps such as Video Poker, Keno, and Slots to boot directly from CoinOps on a mini PC. The Cherry is designed for a 15.6 touchscreen or non-touch monitor. There are multiple control layouts if you want to have it for retro gaming, trivia, game show, board games, and or casino style games. You can learn more about the Cherry in the description, but for now, let's walk through how I got Android apps running on my Windows PC and configured to a USB controller. Alright, so I just want to talk through BlueStacks and how to get Android apps in your CoinOps build. So you can go download BlueStacks, just Google it. It's a Windows app, so I've downloaded that here. And then you can see from here, of course, I can download games. You can log into your Google account. So I just downloaded a few games here just to test out on this. A couple things that are important. If I go into settings, I want to go to game settings. You can have the game launch in full screen, which I would suggest for this. As well as under preferences, you can turn off this allow BlueStacks to show ads. I turn that off and just tell it, yeah, turn them off. The other thing is create desktop shortcuts for apps after installation. So that's really important here because it'll make it really easy to put it into your CoinOps. So with that being said, as you download apps, of course, you can just search in the Google Store, whatever, download apps. It's going to put them on your desktop. So just to show you guys this here. In fact, I'll go ahead and close out of BlueStacks. I don't think I need it anymore, so I'll close out of that for now. So you can see here, here's a couple of the games that are on my desktop. So what we want to do is in your CoinOps collections folder, there's a folder called PC Gamer. So just right here in the root of CoinOps collections. And what you're going to want to do is create a bat file. So just to show you guys this bat file here, basically, you can do the @echo off space off there and then just do a space. And then what I did is just right click the shortcut and go to properties. And then right here in the target, this again, BlueStacks created this when it installed this game. All I did was copy that and paste it into here, right there on that line. And then you can see here there's this dash source desktop shortcut. I took that out. So just go ahead and take that out. Paste it in here. So this is going to boot directly into that game, and since it's set to full screen, it's going to boot full screen. The other thing that I did real quick, so again, this is under PC Gamer. I went into collections and go down to PC Gamer, and then in my artwork, I added a logo, and this is important. This needs to be named the exact same as whatever your bat file is. So I have a logo. A marquee, and the marquee I just got, a picture off of Google or whatever. I did it 452 by 143 because that's what these were. So, or that's what this one was, I believe. Yeah, so I just resized it to that. And then I also just downloaded a video off of YouTube of someone playing this style of game, and then I edited it to where it was like, I guess, 13 seconds here. And again, that's named the same thing. So the video, the marquee, and the logo. So I just want to go ahead and show you guys this here. So I'm going to go ahead and boot into CoinOps collections, and it'll take it a second to boot in here. And then I'm going to go to the PC Gamer, and it should show up because it'll see that bat file. And you can see there is my marquee on the right. And then it has the little video I'd pulled off the internet. So when I press enter here, you can see there's my logo. Now it's going to boot the BlueStacks, which takes a minute, and it's going to boot directly into that game in full screen. Looks like it did. Looks like there might have been a oops. I have a shortcut for my F11 to do paint, so that's what that is. But you can see here, so it booted into the app. And then if I get out, I'll have it programmed to go Alt F4. And then, you can hit close. It'll close out and it'll go back to CoinOps. So that's how I set up BlueStacks to boot directly into a game and then also get some of the art. Of course, you could add some more of the art if you wanted to, if you really cared, or do cabinet file or whatever it is. But that's that piece. So next, let's talk about BlueStacks and how I can configure my controls. So it's not only for a touchscreen, or you wouldn't even need a touchscreen if you had a mouse. and then you can do it from your control deck. Okay, so you can do this for any game. You can even integrate a trackball in for like Golden Tee. There's a lot of things you can do here. I'm going to show you how to do this poker game here. So if I go into one of the poker games here, these controls and most of these apps are all in the same places once you get them where you need them. So just to show you this, so I opened this up in BlueStacks where you guys could see it, because you'll want to set this up the first time for this app. If you just hit this keyboard over here on the right for game controls and hit Controls Editor, you can see here I can pull this tap spot over to certain spots. So you can see here for right here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have the H key. This can be anything on your keyboard to do the deal. I could pull something over to the bet max. So for instance, I could pull and say, hey, if you touch right there, so it would pretend that's a finger touch there. I could just make this up, but I could say this is F. So essentially, you could use something like JoytoKey or some kind of key mapper, or you could probably just push it on your USB controls, because this will do also game controls. It's not just keyboard. But basically now, if I press the 1 button, it's going to pretend that my finger pushes right there, so I could hold this in. So I'm going to just close this out. I don't need to save it because all I added was this F button here. But if I close this out, then just to show you guys this, I'm going to hit H on my, you can see the little H key right there. And you can actually fade those out within there so you know where they're at, or you could just turn them off to where you don't see them, but they would work. So you, like you've seen on the little bar top that I've already showed this on in this video. But basically I can press the H key here just on my keyboard. It's going to deal draw. I got 2 pairs, so I'm going to press 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Press H, and then you can see there that it did the deal there. So I can hit bet max. Of course I need to put a button for that, so I can go here and say, okay, I'm gonna just hold 4 and 5 in this instance. Press H, and it goes forth. So essentially, you'll come into your apps and you can just, again, hit the keyboard, Controls Editor, and then it'll save it for those apps. There's the, right there. I can do that and you'll be able to see them better on the screen. So that's where you can kind of fade them out if you want to. You can see here I don't have the USB encoder hooked up yet, but you can see that I could click over and then start doing the buttons there. So I'll get this all configured out for what it is. But the main thing here is I just wanted to show you guys how to integrate in Android apps, especially for this little, you know, Luck Master style machine, we called it, to do any kind of poker games like that. But I want to show you guys how to do BlueStacks and integrate that into CoinOps. Okay, so there's one additional step if you're using a USB encoder. So if you're using something like an iPac or an iPac mini that's a keyboard encoder, your buttons will go straight into it. It automatically converts everything into a keyboard key. So like how we used the H key earlier to do our deal draw, you would just have the H key do that, you're all fine. But if you're using like a USB encoder here, there's one additional step that you have to use, and I'm going to show you how I was able to accomplish this here. So essentially, when you plug all your buttons to your USB encoder, you know, it's going to be, you know, button 1, button 2, button 3, and you press that, it's just going to come across as your normal USB encoder or joystick buttons to the system. You need to convert that using JoytoKey to a keyboard stroke, so that way you can say, okay, this button press, anytime I press it, when this program's open, make it be this keyboard key, right? So in order to do that, just copy this JoytoKey folder in your CoinOps collections folder, and I pasted mine in the PC Gamer folder, just right where we did those bat files earlier. And then I also changed that folder name here to PC. I just put a PC right behind JoytoKey. And then when I went in there, I also changed the exe file and added the PC. This way I just knew for sure it was this version of it versus another version it was working properly. So I did the PC. So go ahead and double click that. It will be down in your system tray, so you have to double click it. And when you do, it'll come up here and you'll see your joystick. And if you press a button, so I have my USB encoder plugged in, it sees it. When I press a button, it's going to tell me which button that is. So at that point, I can click this. It's going to bring up a keyboard and I can tell it what I want it to be, right? So I went through and did all of my keys how I wanted to. I hit save as and just called it BlueStacks. So you can see here in my profiles, there's one called BlueStacks.joystick. So that's the one that it's going to grab. So once you get this set up how you want, and it correlates with how you did your BlueStacks, so you can see here my button 10 is my H button, for instance, and then I have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going across like I showed you guys there. Once you get all this, save it, and again, this is in my JoytoKey PC folder that I created in the PC Gamer. Now all we need to do is update our bat files to say, hey, when I run this bat file, shut down any other JoytoKey. It's also called AntiMicro, but shut it down if there's one already running. And then I want you to boot this one up that has all these settings specifically for what you're going to run in this bat file. That's all we're doing there. So I could close that out, but I just wanted to show you guys I did update this file. So I'll put this in the description, but essentially it's saying, okay, kill JoytoKey, and then go in the JoytoKey PC, right? Because that's the one we did, and run the PC version. And so that'll run this one that has this profile that's saved for that. That way, if you have a different profile for other emulators, it won't be, it won't be using that one. That might not be configured to how you have BlueStacks configured. Then it's going to say, okay, the same that we did earlier. Run the program. It's going to boot straight into it. And then whenever I come out of it, it's saying, okay, kill the PC version and go ahead and start back up the regular version. One thing I did have to do is there was 2 more dots and a backslash here. That's because on the one that I copied from, if you copy from another folder, it has to go back 2 because it's probably in the emulators folder. And then it would be in the actual emulator. So I use the Model 3 as one. So it would go back 2 folders. 1, 2 to start JoytoKey. Well, since it's in the PC Gamer folder, it just needs to go back 1. So you can see there I'm only going back 1 and then restarting that. So as I went through these batch files here, all I did, that stays the same. The only thing that's going to be different is launching that file. So that's kind of that's the last piece that you'll need if you're just using like one of the cheaper USB encoders or zero delay encoders and you're not using actual keyboard encoder. This will already be in your CoinOps folder, and those are the steps in order to get this to work. So again, just wanted to share some knowledge as I've kind of messed through this to get this working how I wanted to. So check the description for more information. Make sure and visit GameRoomSolutions.com. Thanks.